What is going on, Tesla family? Today I'm going to be showing you a very easy to install simple product but also provides great benefit to your car. This is a continuous blind spot monitoring light strip for your Tesla. All Tesla Model 3s and Ys are applicable for this product. Super easy to install. I'll show you details step by step, but this goes on the front dash and it shows you a blind spot monitoring system. If there is a car in a blind spot, it shows you with a bright orange that there is a car in a blind spot. If you start blinking, it will flash red, letting you know that there is a car in a blind spot and you are trying to go into that lane. It also shows all kinds of other stuff like acceleration bar. It shows when the car is preconditioning. All of that is included. When you open the door, it gives you a red indicator that the doors are open, and this is fully customizable just using a scroll wheel button on your Tesla. So there's a lot packed into this little product that I'm going to show you today. Let's get started. This product was sent to us free of charge by Test Studio to review in our channel. It shows $145 here, but I'm going to show you how you can save a lot of money with the discount code. So you can select any of this product. So Model 3, the older Model 3, the newer Model 3, Model Y, Juniper. You can select any of this, and then if you hit to cart, now in the checkout screen, they may have a default coupon applied, but let me give you a better one. So if you go over here and type SHIVATESLA, so Shiva Tesla, and hit apply, that discount goes to $43.50, bringing this to just around $100. I'll let you be the judge if this is worth it or not, but that's how you can save some money. This is an affiliate code, so we do earn a very small commission at no additional cost to you. It greatly helps us bring videos like this in the future, and in return, it helps you save some money as well. Let's continue. So the install is super simple. There's not much to this. This is a fishing wire, so this is not even a connector there. So what you get is right here, starting with this connector, and this is just the OBD connector. So we're gonna do a Y connection down there by the OBD port. We have done this millions of times. It's just removing the one that you already have, or maybe you have an empty port. I'll show you where it is in just a second. Then you are gonna do a power Y connector as well. Super simple again. The other end of this has a USB-C output. This USB-C input is going to simply plug in here, and then the one end of this just goes and plugs into this, and this is the LED band here. We're just going to strategically place it in the front. If you have an older car like a Model Y, it actually just inserts it. There's a space in between there. It's just insert. I'm not sure on the Highland or the Juniper. I'm gonna have to check it out. That's probably why they send you a 3M adhesive in case you wanted to stick it, but that's it. So OBD power connects to this adapter, connects to this extension, goes and plugs in here. And there you go. Now let's first start with the installation for the older Model 3s and Ys, and I'm gonna move on to the Highland and Juniper. But the AMD process is pretty much the same. It's just some of these clips are slightly different on the older cars versus the Highland. So first thing on this process is we're going to pry out this side panel here. Just use the pry tool that they send, and then it just pops out. We've got other connections here already, and then remove this side panel as well. So both of those panels just easily remove. Then undo this weather stripping a little bit, makes your life easier. Now we're gonna go remove this panel. So right here is a plastic push that you can remove, and you can just insert the pry tool and that comes out. So now you can safely remove this and put it away. Now we're able to remove this whole thing. Just grab this panel from the side here, and then this just comes out. There's one more pin you have to remove, which is this guy here. Again, super easy. Now we can put this behind, and then you will see that there's the OBD port. Yours is gonna be a little bit inside. I already have another accessory. So this is the OBD port, and this is the 12-volt connection. Now I already have other products. That's why this is kind of hanging out, but yours would be a little bit inside if you don't have any other products. And then all you do is take this OBD connector and then push it here. So that clicks into its place. Now we just have to do the power, which is you just pinch it in the middle tab here, and while holding that down, you pull the connector out. So that comes off. Now you'll just push this male end in here, and then you'll push this female end here. Now everything is happy. So we're gonna bring in this end from the bottom. It is connected to the OBD and the power. And now what we need to do is grab our LED. So this is the strip that came with it. And what I did was just simply pass it through that corner there. You don't have to lift the dash or anything, just pass it. There's plenty of space to pass this. You can even use the fishing wire, but really not needed because there is a giant gap here where you can pass this wire from the side. And now all we have to do is plug this with the port that we routed from the bottom and just connect these two together. You don't have to remove the panel or anything, as I said, and then this is gonna light up. Now let me show you how you can slide this into the bracket there. So I don't know how well you are gonna see on the camera. The older Model 3s and Ys don't need a 3M adhesive or anything. It actually goes and inserts into this space here. I don't know if you can see that. It is a gap, slide gap, as if like Tesla wanted this to be a product in the future, and you simply take this end, like the black end of this, and then slide it into that gap there, and that's about it. So what you do with this process, as I said, there is that opening there, is simply you lift up the opening just a little bit, and then slide this in. It may take you a little bit to get used to it, but as you look at it here, this is just going in without any issues, and it is essentially just tucking it into that area, and you just have to do that all around and make your way, and that's it. Like if you look at it here, we have already inserted the light up to there. Now let me show you how to do this install on a Highland or Juniper. Very similar but slightly different steps. But the process is pretty similar to some of the AMD cars that we have shown. All you have to do is first unlatch this weather stripping just up to somewhere here by the door. So that's the first step. Now we're gonna remove this panel. Now you're gonna take the pry tool and prop open this panel right here on the side. Just be gentle with this step. It doesn't require much force. You just go up and then prop this out, depending on how many times you have removed this. Mine, I haven't really removed this yet, so it should be pretty straightforward. And there you go. It just comes out, so that's super simple. Next, we have to remove this plastic fastener and just take your pry tool and prop that open. And if you look at it, this just comes out. So you're gonna keep this in a safe place and then move on to the next step. Next step is really to just remove this bottom trim panel here. And if you look at it super easily, that's how it comes out. In this next step, we're gonna plug in the OBD plug that came with the kit, and I like that Enhance actually send you the both male and female, because the Tesla only has a female one. If you inserted the male one and if it didn't come with the other part, then you're stuck with just that one accessory. But because they send a male and female, now you still have this port open to add other accessories in the future. You can simply daisy chain there, and what you do is you go over here and simply insert this. It clicks into its place. Now you have got a connection here for the OBD, and you still have a female port, as I say, for other accessories in the future. Now we have done the OBD side. Now we need to worry about the power side, which is right here. So this plug that you see is the power plug. So what we do is press on this middle tab here, and while holding that down, we pull that plug out. You take the male Tesla plug and simply insert it into the female plug of the Tesla. So here you go, that is done. Then you're going to take the male end of the Tesla and then plug it into the female end of the new plug. And there you have it. The Model 3 Highland and the Juniper, you're gonna have to remove this dash cover, and it is a little bit difficult than the just typical Model 3 or Y, because this is kind of propped in really well with a lot of clips around in both the front and the back. So you wanna use your pry tools, get as many pry tools that you have, and just basically go underneath here and start propping this. Don't yank this out, don't pull this with your hand, just use the pry tool and start propping this. This is very patient work, so you're gonna need to do that at least for the first time, and it might be loose afterwards for other installs in the future, but for the first time this does feel very stuck, and you just have to kind of loosen it using this pry tool. You just have to pry it open, maybe leave some of these tools here, and then make your way all the way through. So this is likely going to take some time if you have never opened this in the past. So as I said earlier, go with the tool. I propped out just one clip here, and this is a long game. You wanna kind of go around with the tool and keep propping this pins out. If you look at it here, So I have been able to take out a couple more pins. So you only have to lift it up to this first port, which looks like this here, for the Juniper and the Highland, and then you can run the fishing wire. So if you look at the fishing wire and then just push it through this side, you'll be able to just grab it from here. It's a giant opening there, there's a void, and you're gonna be able to get this fishing wire. Now what we do is we take this cable that we had installed earlier in the bottom, and you take this end and basically put a electrical tape here and then push this out. And from there, we're gonna be able to route it and then paste the light somewhere right here. But that's the hardest part here, is to remove this. I wish there was an opening from here. I tried it without removing this dash, but there was no way. But at least you don't have to remove the dash whole way through. You can just lift it slightly up to here and then pass the cable. So if you look at it here, we were able to route the cable from this side to here. Now we just need to install the LED. Let me show you how to do that next. So this is the LED, and how this works is you see that white part here that faces towards the front. That's the actual light, and you're gonna see the 3M adhesive in the back. We're just going to install it right at the corner here. And what happens when we do that is when we close this out, you're barely gonna see the installed portion, but you're gonna see the light just like that one. You're gonna see the light here. But all of this is extra wiring that we're going to install and then route it. I'll show you from the back, but basically we're probably going to put the pin somewhere here so it doesn't come out or become exposed. So all of that cable, we're gonna route it from the back and then insert it into that opening. But basically now your job is to take this and then lay it all the way through, and we're gonna do some measurements and make sure that we're aligning it to the center. Now our job now is to basically place this on both ends. So the end of this here, and then run it on the other side and make sure that it is in the center, right? So there is enough space on this side exactly like on the other side so it doesn't feel off. So the trick here is you wanna peel off just a little bit of this and then attach where you think is going to be the end of here, and then you can go to the other side and align it and then see if it is center. Then you can go ahead and press the rest of this. So I think I have aligned it good. I peeled off a little bit and attached this as well on both sides. Now what I'm gonna do is actually connect this plug and give it a try and do the turn signal and everything and see if I can see it perfectly on both sides. Depending on your OCD level, you may or may not have to do this, but just showing you how I'm planning on doing mine. So I plugged it in and this is what it looks like. Again, I haven't pasted it all the way through, but you do have to close both doors for this to work. So this is where I put one end of it, and then that's where I put the other end. And now if we were to do the testing here, so if I were to blink this way, as you can see, that blinks there, and blinking the other way, that blinks there. So I think it is pretty centered, given both sides here. I'm gonna leave it to that. Now, all I have to do is pull out all of this and then paste it in the whole way. So after you have successfully aligned this, and while you are sticking this into the dash here, you wanna make sure that instead of all the way in to hide everything, you wanna make it out on the edge so that you can actually see the light. If you dig it all the way in to hide everything, it's not going to be very visible from the front. So you're gonna wanna put this onto the edge. You don't have this problem on the older Tesla Model Ys or 3s because you just insert it inside and it reflects really good. But in a Highland or a Juniper, you wanna make sure that this is way out here so that you can see it even from here on the top as well as a straight. So now the only thing left to do is to figure out this wiring here. So this is connected. What we're gonna do is actually pull this out a little bit. So if you look at it, we can just pull it from here and see how far we can pull this so that we don't have to hide as much cable, and we can just kind of put this out like this. Or the alternative route is to give some slack and then go it from the behind here, because there is a little opening that may actually be cleaner, and we just tuck this in here and then go from the back. So maybe we do this. Just make sure that the cables are not gonna get clipped with the dash on the top. So we just have to watch out for that. But once we do this, I think yeah, there you go. So this is good to go. You see, you can't see it from the front here, and once we clip this in, we can't see it from the back either. So before I show you on the road all the features, all the demos of what this product offers, let me just give you a quick rundown of all the features. Of course, this has the blind spot monitoring system. That is the biggest feature that this has, the main point of this product, where if you put your blinkers and if there's no car in your blind spot, it'll just flash green. If there is a vehicle that approaches in your blind spot, then that indicator on the side turns really bright orange, let you know that there is a car in your blind spot. And if you don't do anything about it, the car passes and then the light goes away. But if you do happen to put your blinker well, there is that orange solid light, then it is going to flash red, letting you know there is a car in a blind spot and you are trying to go into that lane. Very standard, like some of the displays that we have seen in the past. Now you can also get an indicator for door opening. So with this product installed, if you open any of the doors, it will indicate the front doors. It will indicate that there is a door open. There is also an indicator for your acceleration. So in one of the setting modes, you can see that when you press on your accelerator, it is just going to move that light bar as how much you are pressing on the accelerator. So it is really that accelerator meter, the bar that you see on the Tesla. Now it is replicated with this LED light. It also shows a really nice, cool animation when you walk into the car, and that is also customizable for color and how you want it. There's also a setting where you can see battery preconditioning. So if you start going to a supercharger and the battery is preheating, preconditioning, pre-cooling, it will show with the red indicator in the middle that there is a battery preconditioning going on. This also has an autopilot indicator. So when you are in autopilot, it is just going to cycle through different colors, giving you that rainbow road type of effect that you typically find on other displays in the past, where you can see that your car is in autopilot, shows that changing color options. But even in autopilot, if there is a car that comes in your blind spot, it is going to override it and put it as a orange, bright orange color, so that you know that there's a car in your blind spot, even if you are in autopilot. So that bright orange color and then the bright red color when you're flashing is always going to be there, no matter what setting, where you are at. It is just a universal thing, which is really good because that makes it less confusing of what color that you are looking out for. Finally, you can change how far the light goes on either end. I don't know what the purpose is for that, maybe for height purposes, personal preferences. So instead of seeing those indicators on the edges there, you can also just push it slightly in so that the edges would be empty, but then the indicators like the blind spot detection, autopilot, and all of that would be slightly off center in towards inside. Maybe again, personal preference to see it. If you have a shorter height, maybe you want to see it directly in front of you rather than on the corner, but you do have that option, and this is fully controllable by pressing that right scroll wheel button on your Tesla. So this is fully installed, and that's what it looks like. There is the light in the middle. I'll show you what that does, but right now I have selected a mode where there is no light visible as default. So it is non-distracting, just that light on the corner that you can hide for now, and it's just blank here, right? I'm gonna show you how to customize this, show the light all the time, different colors and everything through this video, but I'm gonna start with this blank option where there is no light here, but if you were to press on the turn signal, you're going to see that the light flashes here, even though there is nothing. And this is for night driving, especially if you don't want the distraction of having that ambient light on in the bar in the middle. And if you look at it that way, it still does that. So that's what you are gonna see. Now, with the setting changes, there is gonna be two main ways that this displays the light. One is the full width, so all the way towards the corner here, so you can see that the light goes all the way up to here and on both sides. Now there is an option where the light only goes somewhere up to here, so you're gonna see the turn signal only almost like not all the way to the edge, but kind of where you can see it from this distance, but instead of being on the edge, you have an option to see it right here. I think that's just personal preference, but you do have that option. So there are two main settings. One is to show the full width, the other one is to show partial width, but the feature and the function is exactly the same between those settings, except for the light options. Before I show you the different color options, let's talk about this guy here. So this is the light that is always going to be on this mode. This is specifically mode where this is the acceleration bar. So what happens is if I was to go ahead and press on the accelerator, you see the bar actually increases. Tesla is giving me alert saying I need to put the car into gear, but basically it shows you how far the acceleration is going. So it mimics that energy bar that you see on the Tesla, the acceleration bar. So changing the setting is super simple. You just have to use this right scroll wheel and press and hold on it. Doesn't matter which car, all AMD cars is the same setting. You just press and hold here just for a few seconds, and you're gonna see that light bar go off once you release this. I would say probably about 10 seconds to activate the setting. You let go and you're gonna see that light bar go all the way through, and it stops right there. That is the partial mode that I was talking about. Earlier it was the full mode, now it is the partial mode. It stops right there. And to change different colors so it is visible, you just have to swipe this towards up, and you just have to do it like how you're changing settings on autopilot, and you see that it changed between different colors. So now it is orange, but it is partial there. And if I were to do the turn signal, you see that it is only partial. It doesn't go all the way to the full width of this turn signal indicator. There is more LED space there, but it doesn't do that. It stops right there. And I think that's just, again, personal preference. When you do that, you see that. Now, if you were to open the door, you're gonna see just a lighter version, the brighter version of the same light. You can just scroll this up or down. Now it is red color. You can scroll this to a different color. Now it is white, light purple. You can go again. It is darker purple, blue. There is white light. And then if you just keep going through this setting, you're gonna end up with that one setting where it was no light and just the corner. So right now there is no light here. You're only gonna see that acceleration bar there. Now if you wanna change this to the full width again, all you have to do is press and hold on this scroll wheel and let the light up again about 10 seconds, and then it'll go on the full width mode and you can change between different color. So I let go. That bar is gonna go all the way through now. You see that? It ends up right there. So now you can go between different settings. So if you just scroll this up, it's just gonna take a second for the light to come up, but right now you saw that it is a white light, and then you change this. This is how you change between different color options. So this is the acceleration bar in action. As you speed up, the accelerator shows, and right now I'm putting the blinker, and as you can see there is the blinker there, and as I accelerate you're gonna see that acceleration bar, which is pretty cool, green, because there's no car in my blind spot right now. Now regarding the blind spot detection system, normally if you were to put your flashers here, you're just going to see green flashing because there is no car in your blind spot. And this is from the driver's perspective here. I'm 5'9", and this is what I'm seeing from the corner of my eye. And if we were to flash this way, that's what I'm seeing. So it is visible, and you can see it from the driver's seat, first of all. So that is reassurance that this light is visible. You just have to install this light all the way out on the Juniper and Highland, and then for the older model, there's just one place to just stick this in and it reflects. So you're gonna be able to see that. So that's what you see on a normal setting, that if there's a car in a blind spot, it is going to be different. So green is when there's no car in your blind spot. Now let's do the car in your blind spot. Now there is gonna be a car in my blind spot here in just in a second, and it is going to show orange, so bright orange, and it is a clear indication that there is a car in my blind spot. As you look at it, it's bright orange. It shows that the car is in my blind spot, and then it leaves, it goes away. But there is gonna be constant cars in my blind spot. And if I was to blink right now, it flashes red, indicating that the car is in the blind spot. But if there is no car in the blind spot, that becomes green. So that's what the blind spot indication shows, is it is going to show an orange, it's a bright orange, when the car is there in a blind spot. So look at that, it is bright orange, and it does that on both sides. It's just a blind spot indicator here. If you look at it this side, you're seeing that as well. So that's basically it. There's a car in a blind spot, it is bright orange, the car passes, there is no orange light there, it is just quiet, there's no light, which is great. I don't like the distraction. And then all of a sudden there's another car, and you see that there is an orange light in your blind spot. Now I'm going to show you the autopilot mode. It doesn't do much other than just show you a little indicator here that the autopilot is toggled on, and there's something that I have feedback for them. So basically, turning on the autopilot it just shows a little indicator there that just goes through different color options. But other than that, it doesn't show you nag. So right now the car is nagging at me. I wish it would just show the nag that I'm seeing on the screen, but it does not show the nag at all. Instead, it just keeps that color circulation. So that's something that they need to incorporate in the future. But with autopilot, as you saw, it just shows that little indicator on both sides over there as well. And that's it. Like, it just goes through different color options. What it does do is it does show the turn signal indicator. So in autopilot, if the car is making turn for you, you are going to see the turn signal, and as soon as it makes the turn, it goes back to that option of just showing the rainbow effect on both sides. So it just circulates through that same effect. It doesn't do anything else, which I think they need to incorporate, making that nag visible. And I just want this whole bar to blue when autopilot is active, and if it is nagging, I don't want them to flash that whole line, not just that little corner over there. I want them to incorporate that, but there is no setting for that right now. It's just what you see here in the corner. Now, if you're preconditioning for fast charging at the supercharger and you're going over there, it is actually going to show as a red indicator right here. So that shows that the battery is being preconditioned. Sorry about the flare on my camera, but this is what you see is the preconditioning sign. So battery heating is just going to show up as a red there. So if I was to cancel it, so the battery heating is no longer active, it just goes away and just goes back to default whatever light that you had. Also get a really nice welcome animation here with the light that it opens, and then now the door indicator, because this door is open, you're gonna see that. And then if we were to close it, everything just turns off. So at nighttime, this becomes even better because everything gets reflected right here. So if we were to flash, you see it very, very clearly. And if there was a car in your blind spot, you see that very clearly as well. So night driving becomes a lot safer. But as I said, you could turn this off if you don't want that light constantly showing up. But this has a lot of potential. So what do you all think about this product? Your likes, your dislikes, any feedback, any feature requests, please let me know in the comment section below. They do say that this is software upgradable to add more features. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I think it'll be a USB stick probably. We need to plug it into that little module that they have in the bottom, but I really don't know how they would do software update, but they say they would, so I would like to give that a try. Please drop your suggestions in the comment section below. What should they add through the software update? Any other features, when they blink, anything that you wanna be added, please let me know in the comment section below. I really like the integration part of this. I think it is bright, it is useful, it does all of those features. Of course, we can add more features always, right, on any products, but so far, for what the purpose is, it is great. The only thing that I do not like about this is that rainbow effect when you turn on the autopilot. I just wish it just stayed one solid color all throughout. So all of that bottom part just lit up as blue, indicating that it is autopilot, just to match with Tesla. And then if there is a nag, I want it to actually flash it, letting me know there is a nag on the autopilot, rather than just those tiny corners on the side having that rainbow effect. I think they should just make that, and I don't think it's a hard change for them to do. So I hope they incorporated that for me personally, because I would just like a solid yellow blue light when I turn on the autopilot. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found today's video helpful and would like to see more videos like this in the future and support the channel, I would greatly appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Like this video, share our videos with your friends and families, engage with our video. Anything that you can do with the engagement greatly helps with YouTube's algorithm. That means YouTube is going to show videos like this more and more to different audiences, helping us grow, and we'll continuously bring you amazing products for your Tesla. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon.